and with some things that we're doing for today and in the upcoming days. So what to expect this week? First and foremost, there's going to be going on through this week. Well, we're going to do a few different things. We're going to be looking at the Greeks. All right. So what can you expect for this week? There's a few different things. Assessment, all that stuff will all be updated this week, from everything from your forum posts to the quizzes. All that's going to be updated this week. I have, like I said, running 4 online classes has been kind of crazy, and I haven't been ignoring or neglecting you guys, but I'm going to knock all that stuff out this week, so you'll be good to go there. I'll post the Greek PowerPoint notes, the first part of them. There's going to be a couple. We're going to be with the Greeks for this week and next week. So there's going to be a few versions of Greek PowerPoint notes. All right. I'll throw the first one out this week, so you'll have that over the next couple days to review as we get into the rest of this material. What to expect for the rest of this week? We'll look at some pages that I want you to focus on reading here in a minute. And then as far as what's due, what are we doing this week, or what's due by next Monday? Tomorrow, guys, or later tonight, depending on when I get back, a bunch of meetings and practices and stuff today, but I'll either post it tonight or tomorrow morning. We're going to get into this week. We'll have forum post number 3. Okay. That's this week. Remember to always throw in a reply to your classmates on forum post number 3. And you can work on that this week. And that's the thing that we're doing this week. It's due by next Monday. That would be September the 21st at class time. So at 11:15 a.m. next week. All right. So that's what we're doing this week. What's forum post number 3 going to be over? I have found a bunch of, I think we're going to look at, I have 4 different video clips of what we're going to try to do with modern connections to Greek religion. Okay. So this week is going to be a lot of religious stuff. Okay. And we're going to look at trying to make modern connections to Greek religion and Greek religious belief. And I know you're probably like, well, man, I don't know. Like, I'm not sure why we're looking at Greek religion. Hopefully this week I can try and explain and try and help out and make you guys realize why this stuff is important and why it's interesting. Because just over this past weekend, I'm watching TV, and an auto trader, all right, it's a website for car dealing, and Terry, you might be hopping into Auto Trader this week since your engine fell out. Autotrader.com threw a commercial up, and I don't know if you guys saw it or not, but it takes place in ancient Greece. And the commercial, which I'm going to have you guys watch and react to as part of the forum post, is really interesting because, guys, it's the year 2020, and we're still making commercials about ancient Greek gods. And so this commercial, basically, the long and the short of it is this woman kind of, goes back in time, and these 2 Greeks are having a discussion about trying to find a better vehicle that can work in ancient Greece. And this woman, hops out of her mom van and says, you should try autotrader.com. And the 2 Greeks are looking at her and they're like, what kind of god are you? And so they start asking her like her name. They're like, are you Athena? And she's like, no, I'm Claire. And they're like, Aphrodite? And she's like, no, I'm Claire. And like, so she's just this mom in a minivan. And it's really funny because we're still in the year 2020. We're still imagining the Greeks. We're still imagining Greek religion. And it's still kind of applicable. All right. And that's the cool thing is, and I'll show you a couple video snippets from movies. We're going to watch a couple minutes of video from a movie called The Odyssey. We're going to watch a couple minutes of a video from a recent movie called The Wrath of the Titans. And so even in the modern world, guys, Hollywood is still reimagining And our popular culture is still imagining what Greek gods were like. All right. So the reason is why. Why are we still dealing with these things? This happened, 2,000 plus years ago, 2,500 years ago. Why are we still wondering about these gods and wondering about these people? And the reason is hopefully this week, you guys will be able to discuss it and talk about it and think on it a little bit and make those modern connections that turn something that happens 2,000 years ago into something that you can grab hold of. All right, because history isn't any fun. History isn't worth doing unless you can make a modern connection, unless you can relate it to yourself. Okay, and that's the whole point of this class. It's just trying to take stuff that happened a long time ago and see if it can't be applicable to you today. That's the whole point of this course, really. All right, so that's what we're doing this week. We're trying to make modern connections. We're going to make modern connections to these videos, to these Greek religious beliefs, and to those aspects. All right, and that forum post will be due by next week, all right, when we come back into class on Monday. So you got the whole time to work on that. Cool, everybody cool with that? Yes, no, maybe so? All right, some reactions. Other reactions, good to go? Oh, awesome. Okay, what I want to do now, all right, what I want to do now is I want to share my screen a bit. All right, good. Hey, got a couple thumbs up there. Thank you, Jalen. Good. I like the thumbs up. That's good. Can I do thumbs up? Yeah, I can do thumbs. Can I do? Am I allowed to do thumbs up? I don't think I can do this as the host. Only the crowd, the peanut gallery, can give me thumbs up and thumbs downs. All right, that's good. Awesome. So let's share the screen a bit here. I want to show you some things. And get into some of the aspects that we want to talk about for today. All right, so try to, when this pops up on your screen, give me a thumbs up or so, or some sort of reaction when this does pop up for you guys. Let me know when we can, when we see it or when we can't. Yes, no, maybe so. Is it there? Not yet? Oh, bleep. Come on, internet. Seeing anything? Got anything about a map? Good, got the map now. Okay, good. Thanks, guys. Awesome. Okay. The map is up and running. Okay, good. Thanks, Cam. All right. Thanks, guys. Great. Guys, here's what's going on. All right, and this is where we're going to start this week, and this is what we're going to deal with looking at the Greeks, because we got to set the stage and we got to look at where we are on the map and we got to figure out what's going on. So where's Greece? Okay, right here. All right, you can see Greece. Greece is this peninsula, this collection of peninsulas and islands that juts out into the northern reaches of the Mediterranean Sea. Okay, this is a gigantic area in the sort of middle part, southern middle part of Europe, okay? And the Mediterranean Sea is, along with the Aegean Sea, is the highway for the Greeks. It's the place that the Greeks go to for food, for transportation, etc. We talked about last week. Well, what's going on, guys, if we look at some dates here, okay? Because some bad, weird stuff starts to happen in the Mediterranean region around the year 1200 to about the year 1000 BC, okay? And what do we mean by bad, weird stuff? Well, here's what happens. It's very kind of sketchy as far as sources goes. Now, hopefully you guys picked up on that from the early parts of your chapter 5 reading, where like sources, it's kind of hard to figure out what the heck's going on because, guys, nobody's really recording anything. There's no recording devices, obviously. There's no TV. There's none of that stuff. And writing was kind of sketch to begin with, too, because, you had hieroglyphics and you had, cuneiform and you had kind of early Greek writing, but it was all just, nothing was really getting written down and preserved for history. So what we've kind of figured out is around the year, like I said, 1200 to around 1000 BC, some bad stuff starts happening in and around the Mediterranean. And it's related to the fact that Egypt is kind of falling apart. Egypt is falling apart politically. Egypt is falling apart militarily. So guys, remember, Egypt kind of runs the show as like the superpower of the Mediterranean for a couple thousand years.
Professor Eagan.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Was that Michael? What's up?
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead, bud.
Are these? Are you going to go back over the this PowerPoint in a narrated slide again? Sorry, you answered this question the other day, but I forgot.
No. These I'm going to hit on these slides real brief right now, but then when I post this whole PowerPoint tomorrow for you guys to view for the rest of the week, then yes, I'll make this a little bit more. This will fit more into the general line of the PowerPoint.
Sweet, lovely, thank you.
Yeah, no worries. So what I want you guys to look at is just kind of a couple things. One, whenever superpowers fall apart, okay, and this happened before you guys were born. This happened when I was little. The Soviet Union fell apart. Okay, one of the big superpowers of the world. The Russians they were this gigantic superpower known as the Soviet Union, and they just fell apart in the late 80s, early 90s. And that caused a huge power vacuum in that region, one that is still kind of being filled by various things. But what it did throughout most of the 90s is it created a lot of movements of people and some little mini wars triggering here and there, and just lots of movements of people when superpowers fall apart. Okay, kind of think of it as if you ever played like Jenga and you just pull out that one piece and the whole thing falls apart. Okay, when Egypt falls from power, it's like you pull out the one piece of the Jenga that you can't pull out, and the whole region just kind of falls apart for a couple hundred years. And so all these yellow lines are basically invaders. They're pirates. They're land pirates. They're sea pirates. They're bad guys. Guys, the world always has bad guys. The world had bad guys 3,000 years ago. The world's got bad guys today. Whenever powers and stuff kind of teeters here and there. I mean, guys, you can see it today. You can see it in some of our major cities throughout the United States. There's some bad stuff going on. All right. And some real kind of ugly, violent things are happening. And it's because, like, we're teetering a little bit. All right. And so this stuff happens, but on a much bigger scale. Around the year 1200 to 1000 in the Mediterranean. And so people are looking to pick up the pieces from the Greeks. Now, people are looking to pick up the pieces of the Egyptians. And one of those powers that starts to grow are these Greek city-states. All right. But we really don't know what's going on in these Greek city-states because nobody's writing anything down yet. Okay. So this is where I want to stop that share, and I want to come to look at our book. Okay, there's an important page in our textbook that I want you guys to focus on. Okay, and I'm going to share this page, and then when this pops up, kind of give me some thumbs or some things in the chat when you guys can see this. Is that page up and running yet? Okay, good. Great, thanks, Bush. Guys, one of the things that, okay, good, thanks, DCAS, thank you. The thing, guys, with the Greeks, okay, and I'm gonna highlight something I want you guys to focus on this page from 5.8 of our textbook, all right? The Greeks saw mythology and history as related. Okay, we're going to get into that this week with the Greek gods. The Greeks absolutely believed that the gods interacted with people and people interacted with the gods. And one of the things that we're going to see is you can't upset the gods by thinking that you, the human being, the puny little measly human being, is able to do stuff on their own. Okay, you have to acknowledge that the gods are in charge. And that's, guys, is the whole part of these early Greek stories, is the Greeks had this tug and pull relationship with their gods, where they have these stories, they have these cautionary stories to tell the rest of the Greeks, you are not in charge. Gods are in charge, and you have to play your role too as human beings. But it's the gods that are kind of making this whole thing happen. All right. And so a lot of us, we still live in that, and we'll talk about our connections to living in that realm today. All right. But let's take a look at this thing, this event that we want to talk about. It says here in your textbook, okay, one specific mythical event marked in the eyes of the Greeks the beginning of Greek history, essentially. And that event was the Trojan War right here. Okay, that event was the Trojan War. So we're going to look at, over the next couple of days, guys, we're going to look at events from this thing called the Trojan War. We're going to look at events from this event. Did it happen? Did it not happen? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether it happened or not. The Greeks believed it happened. Okay, and that's what we're going to go with. So how do we get this story? We get this story related to us from, we're told, from an individual named Homer. Okay, and I'll stop the share there and make sure you guys focus on that page and that section 5.8 from your textbook. All right, I'm going to share, get back to the PowerPoint here for a sec. I want to share that PowerPoint screen. Excuse me. There we go. Hit the wrong button. Right here. There we go. Are you guys picking up on that at all? Can you see the PowerPoint there? Anybody there? Yes, no? Yeah, thumbs up, thumbs down. Good. Thanks, Ethan. Okay, good. Guys, what's going on here, okay, is that the Greeks during, and I hit the wrong button, excuse me, sorry. Go back and we'll look at, I want to look at Homer here on that one. Sorry, going backwards here. There we go. Guys, the Greeks believed that this event called the Trojan War was where their history started, okay? And this individual named Homer was seen as the person who wrote the stories down, all right? Now, did Homer really even ever exist? Don't know, okay? But the point is that this individual named Homer gets credit for writing down two major stories, all right? This person named Homer gets credit for writing down two major stories. They're known as the Iliad and the Odyssey. We could focus on both of them, all right? I choose to focus on the one that I like the most, which is the Odyssey, okay? And that's where we're gonna watch a couple video clips this week from this recreation of the Odyssey, all right? Both of these stories, guys, deal with a thing called the Trojan War, right? The Iliad deals with, you know, this huge major battle between, you know, Hector and the famous Greek warrior Achilles. And it takes place, and basically this is like the Greek independence war. It's like the Greeks are fighting against Troy, all right? And Troy was this city-state on the upper realm of Greek power. All right, and if you go back and look at it on the map, it'll show you where Troy is. Make sure you focus on that. And the Greeks are kind of fighting like the War of Independence. They're fighting a revolutionary war to get out from underneath the Trojans. And so the first part, they talk about how the Greeks are fighting against them in the Trojan War. But guys, the long and short of it is this: the Trojan War takes about 10 years to fight. And this book here, the Odyssey, right? This book here, the Odyssey, is a really interesting one. Question Bailey asks: are we going to watch Where Brother? George Clooney comedy, loosely based on the Odyssey. Yeah, it is. You're exactly right. I'm not going to show any clips from that movie, even though it's a great movie. The acting in that movie is fantastic. But you're right. That is a modern interpretation of the Odyssey. I'm so glad that you picked that and pointed that out. We're going to watch like an actual reinterpretation of the book. All right. And this journey called the Odyssey is just it's just that. All right. It's an Odyssey taken on by an individual named Odysseus. Okay. Who is the king of a Greek city-state called Ithaca. All right. And he goes on this journey, essentially, which is where we get the term Odyssey from. He goes on this journey to fight the Trojan War, except that Odysseus creates and commits, and you'll read about this in section 5.8 of your text, he commits a sin. All right. He basically says, I can do this myself, and I don't need the gods' help. And basically what the gods tell Odysseus is, oh yeah, you do need our help. And for your vanity, for the fact that you think that you are more important than us, the gods, we're going to punish you and never let you go home again. We're just going to banish you to the seas. And I want to see how you guys react to that when we watch a couple of those clips this week, because it's really interesting how those things play out. I want to show you one more slide real quick, just to give you the rundown on things that we're going to look at this week. And it's this slide right here. All right. It's always interesting to figure out or try to look at how Greeks believed that the world was occurring around them, what they thought the world looked like, what they thought everything looked like, essentially. And guys, I want you to look at this. It looks kind of like a snow globe, does it not? And that's how the Greeks kind of believed the world was like. All right, that human beings exist in kind of a snow globe that the gods from time to time shake up. The gods from time to time decide that they're going to mess with. And we human beings, we have to interact in this kind of play with the gods in that type of environment. Okay, so these are interesting things that I want you guys to pick up on as I stop the share there and we get back to those questions. So one of the things, guys, one of the questions I'm going to ask you this week, and I want you to noodle on and react to, is we've looked at a few different religious systems so far. We looked at the Mesopotamians, we looked at the Egyptians, and now we're looking at the Greeks. And basically, I want to kind of get into why. What is the point? What is the point? If I want to put it in the chat here, what is the point of essentially religion? All right, of the gods. What's the point? Every culture that we look at really has a massive aspect of their culture revolves around religion and religious ceremonies and holy days and holy practices. What the heck was making classical and ancient culture so obsessed with religious belief? What is the point of it all? Okay, because guys, today we live in an extremely secularized world. Religion for us, for the most part, not for everybody, but for the most part, religion is this kind of thing that we keep off to the side. We do it on Sundays usually for an hour or so, and then we put it away. All right. And we come back to it next week. All right. But guys, in the ancient world, and for the Greeks, religion was everywhere. It was every day. It was all the time. And they constantly spoke to the gods. They said prayers and sang songs and performed sacrifices constantly. Why? What made the Greeks so, and not just the Greeks, the Egyptians, the Mesopotamians, the Romans, when we get to the Romans, what made them so believing in the gods? All right, because it's something, like I said, guys, this is something that's a little bit different than our modern world. Many of us aren't nearly as religious, if you want to put it that way, as even our parents or grandparents, or certainly the 5-6 generations previous to you. And we are certainly not as religious or as believing as a lot of these ancient cultures were, like the Greeks. So I want to try to get into, guys, what's the point of this week? Like, why are the Greeks so obsessed with what the gods are doing? And I want to see if you guys can hammer out some interesting answers to that and some interesting reactions, and maybe come back in here on Friday and we can talk about those. All right, that's certainly one of the things I want to get into this week. Because like I said, we have compartmentalized religion a lot in the modern world for us. It's part of our lives, but it isn't constantly part of our lives. For some people it is. Okay, and I never want to say everybody does something. All right, for some people, certainly religious belief, and that is a constant 24/7 part of their lives. But for the vast majority of people in the modern world, it's not. It's one of many aspects of your life, and it's different. Okay, so I want to try to make a connection that way, where we try to figure out why these people are believing in gods so much, and why it's constantly affecting them and their lives and their culture. All right, so that's really the point of this week. Okay, good. And those are some things, like I said, that I want to bring into Friday when we come back together. All right, I'm going to be interested to see how you guys react to these videos. We're going to watch, like I said, a couple videos from the Odyssey. I want to watch that Auto Trader commercial, and then I'm going to throw in another video from a video showing you the power of Zeus in a movie called Wrath of the Titans. Okay, and just to kind of get you thinking about religion and religious gods and why the Greeks believed that their gods did these types of things. So we have a much different concept of God in the modern world, right? Depending on whatever religion you believe in. Like I said, whether it's Christianity or Judaism or Islam or Buddhism, Hinduism, we have a much different conception of what God looks like, acts like, than the Greeks. And let's try to see if we can't bounce some ideas off of those things and see if we can't relate a little bit. All right. So big week here with Greek religion. Hope you enjoy it. I'm going to try to make it as modern as possible for you guys, so that you don't find it too, I don't want to say boring, but so that it doesn't get away from us too much. Okay. Awesome. We got any questions in the chat at all for me, for you, for us? Doesn't look like it. Good. Awesome. All right. So we look like we're pretty much up to date and rolling here. Okay. So again, remember things this week, focus on forum post, and you'll be hearing from me a lot in terms of assessment, and keep checking Canvas for updates to get your invites for Friday and the notes for the narrated video PowerPoint that we'll be doing this week. Cool? Awesome. What time? 11:50? Good enough for a day. That's good enough for a Monday. All right, friends. So I will I'll send out those invites. I'll see you back in here Friday at 11:15 to talk about some Greek religion. Cool? Awesome. Great. All right, friends. All the best. Be safe this week and get your work done. I'll talk to you soon, guys. Keep having great participation. All the best.